Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode of the Gamers Podcast. We're back here, and I know I probably mentioned it in past podcast episodes and stuff like that. But I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about in terms of podcasts. Like, there's just so much like upcoming games and like new stuff coming out and like remaster games and stuff like that. There's just so much stuff I want to talk about, and I'm so excited to talk about it on the podcast. And there's a lot of stuff I have in my notes and stuff like that to talk about. Um, and like a lot of upcoming games coming out like in the coming months. So there's a lot more where this came from in terms of the podcast. There's just so much stuff I want to talk about. So I know I probably already said that in other podcast episodes and whatnot. But just kind of reiterate, there's a lot of stuff coming. And this is one of them I wanted to talk about, talking about upcoming games. I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, I like Assassin's Creed. I like the series, particularly maybe some of the older ones that come out. Because I think it's so interesting. It covers a lot of like older times. Like, it kind of depends. Like Assassin's Creed Origins, for example. I know we've had gameplay of that here on the channel and amongst other ones. But Origins, for example, is set during like the Egypt times and all that stuff, and the pyramids and all that. And the gameplay you're watching here is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is set during like the Spartan times and stuff like that. And that they're just set in all different kind of like historical events and stuff like that. And like major events and stuff in like human history. But it's very interesting, and I know some of the I like Assassin's Creed Origins. That's my personal favorite as of recent. But they come out with a lot of different. I know I had Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They did that during like the Viking Age and stuff like that. Just for a couple examples, if you're not 100% familiar with how Assassin's Creed is, or like what kind of like what the series is about. But I like Assassin's Creed. It's one of my favorite game series, amongst others. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out in 2025, and I'm reading an article here, and just the usual stuff, talking about it, and give my general, what I think about it and stuff like that. So we're gonna get into it here. So I'm getting this from Wikipedia. Great site, Wikipedia tells you everything. It breaks down a lot of things. Whatever it is, maybe not games specifically, but all kinds of different things, sports, games. Wikipedia is a great site, so it breaks it down really easily here. Obviously, a lot of people do know what it is, anyways. But Assassin's Creed Shadows is an upcoming action role-playing game developed by Ubisoft Quebec, which is also the creator of, or the publisher of Assassin's Creed games, and published by the regular Ubisoft and not Ubisoft Quebec. The game is the 14th major installment in the Assassin's Creed series and the successor to 2023's Assassin's Creed Mirage, as well as the first title to be included in the Assassin's Creed Infinity platform. Set in the 16th century Japan towards the end of the Sengoku period, the game will focus on a millennia-old struggle of the Assassin Brotherhood who fight for peace and liberty, and Templar Order who desire peace towards the control from the perspective of two protagonists, Noe, a female shinobi, and Yasuke, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, an African samurai inspired by the historical figure of the same name. The two characters control differently and provide a unique gameplay style, allowing quests to be approached in multiple ways. Shadows is scheduled for release for the PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X and S, Mac OS, iPad OS, which I'm surprised is on iPad, on February 14th, 2025, so in the next few months here. Then I talk about, goes into a little bit of gameplay here. Assassin's Creed Shadows is an action-adventure stealth game. Similar to its predecessors, it is developed on an upgraded version of Anvil utilizing dynamic lighting and environmental interactions with new enhancements such as breakable props, in addition to allowing players to manipulate shadows as they use a grappling hook for parkour. The game's open world, whose size is comparable to that from Assassin's Creed Origins, which I mentioned, progresses through seasons, each affecting gameplay, including frozen water and icicles in winter, long grass and blooming plants in spring. Missions are non-linear, encouraging players to track and eliminate targets freely. In a change from previous games, vantage points will exist in the world, but only to help the player scan the environment for points of interest, rather than populating the player's maps with objective markers. Alternatively, one can recruit and train a spy network to gather intelligence, alongside bribing officials to ascertain the whereabouts of targets, which kind of reminds me of a few different games. First, kind of reminds me of Red Dead Redemption in a weird way, at least the second Red Dead Redemption. It kind of reminds me of like, how like, I guess it goes through seasons, so like if you go up to the mountains in Red Dead Redemption, it's kind of like winterish, or there's like hot climate. There's like springtime climate, like or medium kind of temperature climate. It kind of reminds me of that. So it kind of, at least in terms of the weather, maybe not like the whole game, obviously, but just kind of gives me kind of the same vibes of that. The Red Dead Redemption, weather pattern and everything. And I'm sure you have to wear like warm clothes or like, weather appropriate clothes kind of thing. That's kind of what that's kind of what it reminds me of. But just to kind of compare it to. This installment introduces new gameplay features, including the ability to crawl along the ground in a prone position, providing the player's characters with lower profile and the capability to access small openings. The character can also venture into shallow water where they can deploy a bamboo stick to breathe through, which is actually really cool if you think about it. Eagle Vision also makes a comeback, but unlike Assassin's Creed Mirage, it would not reveal the NPCs through the walls, as enemies are denoted in red while allies are highlighted in orange. Moreover, a diverse selection of historically accurate weapons is showcased, ranging from katanas to the Kenoba War Club to Yari spears, shuriken kunai, and the kusagrinama. Sorry if I... Some of these names are hard to read if you see it on the article. Each weapon comes with its own skill tree, enabling players to improve their proficiency with specific weapons over time. Players also have the ability to switch between characters as they progress through different missions. Yasuke's combat features destructible environments and realistic weapon impacts, providing cinematic fighting experience. In addition to using arquebuses, I think it's I swear some of these it's just hard to pronounce some of these things on here. But giving him a powerful long-range capability. Meanwhile, Naoi brandishes the iconic hidden blade with its pivot feature to serve as a tanto, as well as utilizing a Kusarigama. I'm sorry, I suck at reading like ancient names, if that makes sense, or like words. It's kind of like if you see it here, it would probably be hard to pronounce for you too. I just don't want to sound like kind of stupid, like I don't know how to read it, but it's kind of hard to pronounce some of these names. Just to kind of go off the record there. But to fend off attackers, swinging its chain in wide arcs to create a distance. Moreover, she employs stealth tactics with an agile and lethal playstyle, hiding in the rafters and ambushing enemies through shoji paper doors. But yeah, some of those names were hard to read. Then the setting, basically Hypnosis. Assassin's Creed Shadows is set in feudal Japan, specifically starting in 1579 during the Azuki Monomeya period. This era marks the final stage of the Sengoku period over the time of civil war in Japan. The game features a scroll figure Oda Nobunaga at the height of his power, following the victory over the Takeda clan using arquebus firearms. Key historical events include his assault on Aiga province in 1581, a significant battle involving the Aiga Ikki, known for their ninjutsu arts. The game will explore central Japan, including regions like Kyoto, Kobe, Osaka, and the Iga province, with historically accurate castles such as the Takeda, and I'm not even going to try to read that, along with detailed historical landmarks and strongholds designed as intricate dungeons. This setting promises a vibrant world of urbanization, bustling ports, samurai districts, and ordnate architecture, all significant for parkour and exploration in the game. The influence of Portuguese trader and Jesuit missionaries who introduced Christianity and new technologies like cannons and long guns also plays a role in shaping the game's environment and narrative. And there's a little bit more on the release. The game was initially scheduled to release for PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X, iPad OS, and Mac OS on November 15th, 2024. However, in September 2024, Ubisoft announced that despite the game being feature complete, they opted to delay the release to February 14th, 2025 for further polishing, citing learnings from the Star Wars Outlaws launch in August. The company also canceled the game's season pass and refunded existing pre-orders, with future pre-orders set to include the first expansion for free, and shift from Ubisoft's previous release practices. The PC version will launch simultaneously on Steam, Epic Games Store, and Ubisoft Connect. Which, I agree with that. If they, I'm not necessarily mad if they delay a game. Any game, even, regardless if I'm looking forward to it personally or not. I don't really mind delays, because if they really have to feel the need that they need to polish it and, like, kind of like it mentioned, polish it or kind of like rebrand the game, kind of make some tweaks to it, I don't mind, because I think ultimately it will become the better product and more people will like it. So I don't really mind delays. Just to kind of go on record to say. And then a few extra things here. There is some controversy with this game. There's reenactment flag controversy. Ubisoft also dealt with controversy after it was revealed that the company had used a Japanese reenactment group's flag in official concept art and marketing materials. Ubisoft Japan issued an apology to the Sekigahara Teppotai on July 3rd, before making a public apology 5 days later. The company said it would remove all references to the flag from its website through the concept art printed in the game's physical art book would likely remain. The reenactment group responded on July 12th, demanding that the flag also be removed from the game's art book. On July 23rd, Ubisoft publicly apologized for marketing materials that may have caused concern within the Japanese community, alluding to the usage of the flag. Basically, for context, Ubisoft basically used a Japanese historical reenactment group and artwork for Assassin's Creed Shadows without permission. They basically used the flag without permission, and people were rightfully upset about it. That's the only that was the problem with it, more or less. But there was definitely some controversy there, I suppose. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the article here, and kind of going to get on to my final opinion on the game, or at least, upcoming. I like it. I have watched some trailers, and I have seen this, other trailers and read some extra stuff outside of this video, and I like it. And I also, as a fan of the Assassin's Creed series, I think it'll be another good game. It kind of also reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, not necessarily the gameplay, but just, it's kind of Japanese time set. Kind of like Ghost of Tsushima. I played Ghost of Tsushima, and I really like it. Also kind of reminds me of Trek to Yomi. I know we had gameplay here on that, on the channel here. I played that too. Both games are fine games, but that's just kind of what it reminds me of. I know it's obviously very different, but it's kind of the same concept, just certain things. It reminds me of a blend of different games. But yeah, as an Assassin's Creed fan, I think the game's going to be pretty decent. I think that there have been some Assassin's Creed games in the past that have been kind of iffy, but most of the time I think they all turn out pretty decent, and I think Ubisoft does a fine job of making it. And will I be getting the game? Honestly, probably. I probably will, because it's been a while since I've really gotten a new, like a new story-driven game, if that makes sense. Like, I haven't gotten a new story, driven game in a while, specifically for, like, PS5 and everything. So I probably will be getting it. I'm pretty excited for it, and also as another Assassin's Creed fan, besides all that, I probably will be getting it. And who knows, I might be making another video here, when it comes out, making another podcast kind of talking about it, or I might show some gameplay on it. Kind of depends, but we'll cross that bridge in February when it comes out, kind of when we get to it. But probably may or may not have some more stuff coming out on the channel for it. Yeah, like I said, we'll see about that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it'll be a good game, but I can't say that for sure till I see more or I play it myself. But just from what I've seen so far, I think it'll be a good game. But yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up for today's video, though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Like I said, we got a lot more stuff coming in terms of the podcast because, I got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff on my notes, a lot of new stuff coming out. So a lot more where this came from, like I was saying in the beginning. And yeah, make sure to leave a comment down below what you guys think of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Are you going to get it? Do you think it's a good game, bad game, whatever it is it may be? Leave a comment down below what you think of it. And also leave a comment down below what you think of the video in general. And podcasts and stuff like that, and just the channel. Anything you want to comment down, feedback-wise, I enjoy to see feedback, I always say. Just because it gets a gauge on how my, the viewers are thinking about it, you guys. So, leave a comment down below. Anything you think is necessary. But yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, with all that being said, make sure to subscribe for more content, like the video, all good stuff. Discord, Twitch, Instagram. Links in the description, as usual. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. And we got a lot of stuff, a lot of new stuff coming up, so stay tuned for that.